What's going on, BBC family? Hope you all are doing well. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. And I am grateful to be able to be before you now to introduce you to phase 2 of our reopening plan. God has been graciously kind to us, and I am grateful to God for that. Last month, I gave you phase 1, which we welcome back all of our leaders, our ministers, our deacons, and our deaconesses. And I'm grateful to God that we've had that opportunity. And if you've been watching the live stream, you've seen that all haven't returned, which is absolutely okay. I've been making it very clear to all who will listen that there is no pressure on anyone to come back. If you're still not comfortable, I completely understand that. But if you are, based on the phase you're up under, we would love to have you back. We have increased our protocols to make sure that we can keep you absolutely safe. Our safety protocols does not eliminate the need for personal responsibility, but it does give you the peace and the assurance that we're doing as much as we can and going the extra mile to make sure of that. We put sanitation stations in and around the church. We have air purify taking place during the week to make sure. We have still kept the church completely shut down during the week, only being in the building on Sundays to minimize traffic as much as possible. Masks are still required when you are on the premises just to make sure. Many of us have been vaccinated with both shots, or some got the Johnson & Johnson one shot, but we have taken those. And I want to encourage you to do your research. I'm not pressuring you to get vaccinated. That is a personal decision that you make. I'm asking you to research it and ask questions of your primary care physician to see if you should get it or not get it, and ask the questions you may have from a lens of concern and educating yourself. And if you make a decision not to get vaccinated, again, that's a personal decision. Your pastor is not going to demand that you get it done. I'm not going to ask for a copy of your vaccination card, none of those type of things. Again, it's a personal decision. But I must tell you that it has been a joy to have those who have been coming each Sunday in the month of April, to have them in the building. There's just something about seeing the people. And we're doing a slow rollout in 3 phases to make sure that when we all return, we return one time, not having to shut down and come back again. I understand the numbers are down, but we still are concerned about your health, your safety, and your welfare. So I want to thank you for being understanding. I want to thank you for being consistent in your attendance of the live stream platforms. I want to thank you for your continual tithe paying, seed sowing, and offering giving. I want to thank you for your encouragement each day. I want to thank you for the prayers you've been rendering. I also want to thank you for continuing to be a part of what God is doing at Bible-Based Church Tallahassee. I don't take any of this for granted. I am grateful to God that he continues to trust me as the herald of his message and as the under shepherd of the flock, but I don't take any of this for granted. In the words of the psalmist, it's the Lord's doing and is marvelous in my eyes. And so for that, I'm grateful to God. Our story and our testimony isn't anybody else's. I'm not trying to compete with other pastors or other churches. We're trying to do the right thing for the people of Bible-Based Church. For over a year, the Lord has sustained us. Better yet, for almost 11 years, the Lord has sustained us. Better yet, since 2006, when God gave me the vision for Bible-Based Church, he has been sustaining us. And so therefore, I know that God will continue to do what God has been doing. And I'm grateful to God for that. And so again, phase 1 encompassed returning the ministers, the deacons and deaconesses. And we've had a great time of being able to fellowship. We have still maintained social distancing. We actually have seats that are blocked off that are not available for usage at this moment to make sure that we respect each other's social distance. Those will remain in place. We've also opened up the overflow area just to make sure that if those come and you're not comfortable being in the sanctuary, we have that seating available as well. That's also had seats marked off that are not for usage. That's the area that we've been using this month for Sunday school teaching, which we've been doing for you through our Zoom account and through YouTube. Phase 2 will begin first Sunday in May, and I'm grateful to God to be able to roll this one out. Phase 2 will encompass the remainder of our servant leaders. So if you are a servant leader of a ministry of our church, you're invited to return in the month of May, as well as our seasoned saints. So these are our older members. We want to invite you back as well. I prayed through this and thought, when should I bring the seasoned saints back? And I'm at peace with this decision that we bring the seasoned saints back in phase two, not in phase three. So in phase two, the remainder of our servant leaders and our seasoned saints, I want to invite you to come back beginning the first Sunday in May. Again, this has been thoroughly prayed over. I'm at peace with what God has spoken to me. We will continue to adhere to our safety protocols, still require you to wear a mask every time you're in the building. Make sure you social distance. And so if you come in and you want to sit on a certain row and there are markings that said that chair is not available, please, sir and or ma'am, don't remove that marking. We've made sure that we gave enough distance between you and the person. Now, if you come with your family, whether you come with your spouse, with your children, then that's something different. We're absolutely okay with you all wanting to sit by each other because you came from the same place, and prayerfully you are being cautiously aware of how you're conducting yourselves. But beyond that, please honor the markings that are there. For my servant leaders, if you have children, you are welcome to bring your children with you. There is no prohibition to that whatsoever. And so phase two keeps in mind phase number one of all of our ministers and deacons and deaconesses, as well as their families. And then phase two increases that with the remainder of our servant leaders and their families, as well as our seasoned saints. And so you know who you are by way of our seasoned saints. You are in that age bracket where we define you as a seasoned saint. You're the ones that you know who you are. And so we invite you to come on back the first Sunday in May. I look so much for you to be here and be a part of you. I can't hug your neck like I want to just yet, but just being in your presence, having you there is going to be such a great blessing. For those who are not a part of this phase two, please be patient with us. Our third and final phase is planned right now for first Sunday in June. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, that is when we plan on doing phase three. I will be doing another video to kind of announce that and walk you through that to make sure that we do things the right way. Now, listen, for those who are part of phase one and a part of phase two, if you're not comfortable returning to the sanctuary, I am absolutely okay and understanding of that. And you may continue to watch us through live stream. There is no ill will. There is no disappointment there. I want you to be at peace as you worship. But if you are comfortable, we invite you to return on the first Sunday in May, those of you who are in phase two. And again, that's the remainder of our servant leaders and all of our seasoned saints. And so those are our elder members whom we love and adore, who are those who impart wisdom into our body. We want to welcome you back and to be a part of this. And phase two will be in place for the entire month of May. If you are part of the latter phase, I ask that you would again honor the steps that we are taking to make sure we bring everybody in the right way. I don't anticipate everybody to return in phase two, those who are welcome, or even in phase three. And I'm okay with that because I want you to be at peace. I want you to know that your church is doing the right thing. But for some, you're going to want to wait just to see if everything really is okay. Cautiously aware. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I do want to give you the assurance. I want to give you the peace to know that we are going the extra mile to make sure, my brother and my sister, that everything we're doing with you in mind. We're going to keep preaching Jesus. We're going to keep loving God's people. We're also going to make sure that God's people who love Jesus feel safe and are at peace. So I want to thank you once again. And before I conclude this video, let me thank all of you who responded to the survey that we put out. It was anonymous, but I want to thank you because we've had a good response back, and you all have been very honest in your responses. And for that, I'm very grateful to you. You've been very, very clear with me that in every phase, you want to make sure that masks are required for the entirety of the worship service. And I can assure you for the foreseeable future, masks will be required for the entirety of the worship service. I've heard you loud and clear. A lot of you have said that you do want to wait until phase three, which would be as of right now in the month of June. I hear you loud and clear. We want to honor that. And there are some of you who are still going to be hesitant about returning. I understand that as well. Your pastor loves you. Your church loves you, and you are still a part of this household of faith and believers. And so we're going to make sure the platforms are in place to still get the word to you where you are. To those who are disappointed because you wanted to be a part of phase two, I sincerely apologize, but I have to be obedient to what the Lord is telling me to do so that when we bring you back in your assigned phase, you can come back with the peace of mind of knowing that everything has been tested, tried, and proven to be true. So again, thank you. Thank you for letting me be responsible as the under shepherd of God's flock to love on you and to lead you as God has ordained. I want to thank the Lord for the ministers and the deacons and deaconesses and for their sacrifices and their commitments. Thank you all. Your pastor loves you with the love of Jesus Christ. And I look so much forward to seeing each and every one of you. If you have not responded to the survey, please, sir or ma'am, make that a priority. We want to hear your voice because we want to make sure that what we're doing and how we're doing it is reflecting of your voice being released to us. I love you all, and I'm grateful to each one of you. And I thank the Lord for what he is doing in this new phase of our church. My final statements I want to make to you, and I want to be clear on this. For the last year to about 11 months, almost 12 months, we've been able to do our entire worship service in an hour to an hour and 5 minutes. I have learned during this time that there's a lot of excess fat in a worship service that is unnecessary. Doesn't mean that we didn't enjoy doing it. It's just unnecessary. We don't have to try to have a 2-hour service if it's not necessary. And so we're going to continue our worship times with Sunday school being at 9 o'clock a.m. to about 9:45. Our worship service beginning at 10 a.m., trying to be done by 11 to 11:05 on Sunday mornings. Now, listen, I am never going to water down the text. I am never going to cut the text off just because I'm trying to adhere to an ending time. Having said that, I also think that we can be responsible enough to come in and worship the Lord with gladness and still be honorable and respectful of the time. And we've been able to do that. And so I want to thank all of those who have been working behind the scenes, our audio visual ministry, our security team, our music ministry, Lady T. I want to thank all of them who have been consistently a part of what the Lord has been doing. Thank you all so very much for your great work in helping us to do this. I want to thank the Lord for the ministers who have stepped up and with opportunities given to them to be able to minister. To our Sunday school team, thank you for being flexible as we've had you do it at home and now slowly bringing you back to the sanctuary. You have not griped, you have not moaned, you have stepped up, and I want to thank you for that. To my deacon and deaconesses, thank you for being responsible over your assigned alphabets. And if you slipped off, please re-engage in that regard. But thank you for being an extension of the leadership team so that we can touch God's people during this time. And for you, God's people, remember, we have a church pantry here. Remember, we believe in being a blessing to our body of believers. And so if you find yourself during this time in need of non-perishables, if you find yourself at this time, you're in need of a grocery card, please let the church hear from you. Go to BBC bless, the number 2 bless at gmail.com. Send an email there. The outreach ministry will receive that email. They will respond to you in a timely manner to try to figure out what your needs are. Now, listen, if you're not in need of help from the pantry or you're not in need of help through a grocery card, then please don't be in the way of somebody else who may need it. But if you are in need of it, we want to make sure that you know that your church is still here to serve you. We are here to serve the present age, our calling to fulfill. I love you so much. I'm grateful to each and every one of you. I look forward to the time when we all can get together. As the old saints would say, what a day of rejoicing that will be. Until we see each other again. Remember, phase 2 begins on the first Sunday of May. If you're in that phase, remainder of my servant leaders and all of my seasoned saints, I look forward to seeing you. Thank the Lord for who he is and all that he's doing. And as I like to say to all of you, remember, don't just be blessed. Always live blessed. I love you.